At present, whatever it is there, we have those tests, but slowly over a period of time, I understand that there will be a need. Once the vaccine is introduced into the field, we have to have some assay so that we can monitor the efficacy of the vaccine. Second, there should be a differentiation. Certainly, we need to differentiate from infected and infected from vaccinated animal. That sort of strategy also we need to have with any diagnostic test. And then also for diagnosis of the disease, that is also equally important, that it is due to a vaccine-induced outbreak or it is really a field outbreak. So in that aspect, we already had that one, that ICAR deletion already we are having. We will be almost sure that can differentiate between vaccine and other thing. So that diagnostics also we should be in a way mission mode so that we develop the diagnostics at the earliest. And then the epidemiology of the disease, that is most important. So we have to have, and what our honorable DDG sir also told, we need to have that consortium. And NIVEDI or NISAD and NIVEDI almost in NISAD we have several isolates representing from 2019 to 22, and many of them we have already adopted them in cell culture. So maybe the representative field sample we will collect, and we will have the complete genome sequence to understand whatever such recombination event, whatever the mutation it is happening, and how this mutation it has spread over the time, and all those epidemiological information. Maybe all together we can sit in that and have a clear understanding to have a better interaction and then do the analysis in a proper way so that we understand that all this evolution, how exactly it is happening into the field situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, sir. The purpose of this workshop has been to take a step towards development of action plan for control of lumpy skin disease in the country. And the presentation that have been made during this session, they have laid the foundations for what will be the content of this panel discussion that we are going to have, although it will be for a short time of maybe 30 minutes. But what has come out of the different presentation that we will be discussing homologous versus heterologous vaccines, their benefits, their demerits, and then there will be another area that we'll be discussing is the reversion of virulence, then also the issue of booster vaccination, and also the issue of post-vaccination surveillance. Then diagnostics, development of diagnostic will be one area, especially focusing on DIVA assay for differentiation of vaccinated and infected animals, and also the differential diagnostics for differentiation of different Capripox viruses, and having the need of species-specific assays for specific diagnosis of lumpy skin disease. Then we need to have the surveillance plan, especially the post-vaccination surveillance, where NIVEDI will be helping the country. And finally, we need to have the exit strategy that will help the country to have zero LSDV maybe by 2030. So these will be the topics that we'll be discussing. Then another area that during panel discussion we can recommend or discuss is, can LSDV be included under National Animal Disease Control Program or LHDCP program as recommended by the Punjab and other states? They are also expecting the same. So this can be the part of the panel discussion based on what we have been discussing by different experts in the previous session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gulati. Thank you, Dr. So, colleague, we are at close. Before I close, just one point for me, that very beautifully Dr. Gulati has listed what would be the points for discussion, and I request Dr. Gulati to assist Chairman Dr. Bhatta during the discussion. Some of the questions they have already been answered by the presentations, like reversion to business, that experiment has already been done. Similarly, one activity about the efficacy of both part vaccine after challenge working in progress, that data will also come. So let us take those points which have been already answered, and then let us also take those points and give more time to those points where no discussion has been there or no answer has been there. And I think it is again, as you very rightly said, the whole purpose is to have a national action plan ultimately, but not after 3 or 4 months. So maybe quickly, if you can decide as a proposal for national action plan through this workshop, so that another meeting if desired can be held in the coming 15-20 days or within a month, and then final action plans can be made. So accordingly, you can assist the chairman in conducting the action. So I thank Dr. Gulati. I thank Dr. Sanjan, who acted as the chair. I thank Dr. Hirenas also, reported a lot of hard work for the rapporteurs. And then I thank all the speakers, spent a lot of time in making their presentations, and they have presented their research findings over here. And nothing, no meeting can be complete without a very calm and quiet listener. So I thank all the participants. They have been more than about 90, at 99 at one point. So I think, yeah, on this, yeah.
Yeah, YouTube.
Right. So lot of people. So, but because we were late, so that viewership now attendance has gone down here. From 99, it has come to 44. So now, thanks once again. Thanks to organizers for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, organizers, for conducting the panel discussion.
Thank you, sir. Now we are coming to the last session of today's meeting. That is panel discussion. For this, I request that Ravindra Bhattacharya of ICAR-NIVEDI can move to chair the session. And the co-chair will be Dr. Palak Chundri, Joint Director, ICAR. And we have the list of panelists at our testing. Dr. Ante Sanya, Dr. Jonati, Dr. Malik, Dr. Pilari, Dr. Mishra, Dr. Naveen Kumar, Dr. Anish Kumar, and from the online, I think Dr. Malik, our ADG, Dr. Ashok Kumar, Dr. Jyoti Mishri, and Dr. Arjit Mitra is still there. Ranjit Mitra, and all these people can join the panel discussion. And the rapporteurs for this panel discussion will Dr. Satyananda and the chair. And I hand over to the chair.
Thank you, Dr. Hemant. Good afternoon. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, science, respected Dr. Sir, President IVS, Dr. Gulati, Director NIVEDI, Dr. Aniket, Dr. Nishad, Dr. Panda Srinivas, Head of NDRA SRS, Dr. Hilary, and my classmate, Dr. Palak, and esteemed colleague from NIVEDI. We're exactly 3 minutes short of the time which was supposed to be closing here. So the session should have been started at 12:20 to 1:20. Now we are 1:23. So even the session is over. So as far as the schedule that has been given, nevertheless, I thank the president and also Director NIVEDI for giving this opportunity to chair this session. And as you know that neither I am a microbiologist nor I'm an immunologist, neither a pathologist, and basically I'm a veterinarian. My specialization is animal nutrition, and our tagline has been better nutrition, better health. So we have been talking about that, and another area which we have been working on is the climate change. And every time we make a presentation on climate change, we keep mentioning that the vector-borne diseases are going to get increased, and that has come true. So, which has been predicted quite long back. And few years back, I have been talking to Dr. Ashwin from Nishad, and he was on his way to the Antarctica expenditure. So that time, I had a discussion with him, and he was mentioning that as in when the temperature is going to get increased, you're going to get more and more disease outbreaks. And I think this is exactly Dr. Ella has thought about maybe 10 or 20 years back, and what we are thinking that these diseases are likely to come I think they are already there, the so-called the new and emerging diseases. And out of the 7 panelists, and 6 have already got the chance to make your presentation. And only one person who has already left is my good friend, Dr. Pallar. So being the JD IVRI, so I thought, he can start the panel discussion. And thanks to Dr. Manjunath Reddy, he has compiled few issues. I can flag it. And if you have specific on that, since the time is late, there's nothing like, we will give you more time. So we should be able to wind it up in another 15 minutes. I think there should be more than enough. So most of the topics have already been covered, something like the importance and economic impact of the disease on the host, environment, and on the farms. Then the etiology, how different is the LSD virus in India in comparison to the global virus. The epidemiology part has also been taken care of very nicely. I think one presentation which Dr. Amit made, I think he has covered it. So there's nothing much which was left. The other point is the understanding the transmission dynamics for design of a better preventive and the control measure in future. I think that's an important point. Then the variation in the clinical symptoms, pathology, and postmortem findings. Are these making the field vets in difficulty in the differential diagnosis? That also has been mentioned. Then the host immune response to wild strains, vaccine, and other factors like is important role of nutrition status in generating good immunity. I think this should be studied, which we will be also interested. Then challenges in the diagnosis, including the types of sample to be sent, laboratory diagnosis, and availability of the friendly and the quick diagnostic test has already been deliberated very nicely. The farm level biosecurity measures in the disease control. I think that's one point which is not very well deliberated. Maybe a couple of points on that is will be most welcome. The standard operating procedure for conducting the epidemiological investigation in case of an LSD outbreak. Of course, and as veterinarians, we always should look at the therapeutic management of the disease. I think that's more important for the field veterinarians. Then the present prevention and control strategies in India and the preparation of the action plan, which the director has already mentioned, the national preparation of the action plan. And the national level preparedness and the surveillance for making India 2030 LSD free. So I'd like to again welcome two of our rapporteurs, Dr. Chanda and Dr. Chetan. And so we'll start with Dr. Pallab because you didn't get an opportunity to.
No, I think directly you can start with taking the inputs from the.
Yeah, you can start if you have any points. I think others,
I think when
you're
you
most
have-
welcome. So
Yes.
I prefer to be closed it by another, not more than 15 minutes.
Yeah. Let us start with the
Maybe,
taking the query. And
Chairman,
yeah,
can we think of the points that Gulati has noted down?
yeah.
We can
On
take
this we can
one
take
by
the
one.
feedback.
So I think then we would be on those lines.
So anybody has any specific
Yeah.
suggestion, because please don't repeat what has already been done. You know, there is bit of overlap even the presentation although. So we would like to see to it that if you have a specific point with regard to anything with regard to LSD which has not been covered, you're most welcome. Please. I think you are audible. You can just.
One of the, test which we are actually lacking, maybe for the detection of antibodies, a lot of 3 institutes, they are working. But we have very poor understanding about the cellular immune response to LSD. And we must have a accurate test, even whatever the cell proliferation interferon we are measuring is not a reliable, maybe that much. We must have understanding about the kinetics of the cell mediated immune response, so that we can have accurate test at what time and what mediators we should look for. So I think somebody can, undertake the research on the.
I think in R&D.
Because
In R&D.
R&D is taken up. Because they
Because as you said, there are many cases where serum antibodies are not there, but
But in the production
Yes.
those cell mediated response is playing role. There are few publications where they say that like hetero say between comparison between sheeppox and goatpox vaccine for LSD, that goatpox vaccine gives much better cellular immune response than sheeppox. So I think there is a clear cut need for understanding the cellular immune response in vaccinated animals. I should
The
be.
problem is that whatever we are measuring as a cellular immune response like interferon gamma or the cell proliferation, I don't believe, they are the good, markers to look at. We have to go with some alternative
I
markers.
think 2 or 3 people who are working those areas, so you can deliberate with them. But this is identified, this is a good area to be included in the R&D issue in the action. Yes. So let us divide them in different categories. Yes. What are the policy issues, technical issues, policy issues, then
On the R&D issue,
and then maybe on the industry perspectives. So like that we can, okay.
These lumps appear on the mammary gland and the teeth sounds.
Okay.
Just we want to know whether the lumps appear on the mammary gland as well as teeth.
They will appear, I think. And it is,
Any field experience?
my strategies are.
My second question is whether this virus any chances to accrete into milk or descend into the milk by milking.
Chances will be there.
Yes, so in naturally infected animals, yes, not all, but some of the animals, you can see the virus is being excreted.
Okay.
But not in the case of the vaccine.
If canal is a big.
In acute.
Or even if it is if there are any lesions, while milking, then virus will go.
Not especially already one of our things said non-zoonotic.
No.
But is there any chances for danger to the milking man?
No,
It is not genetic based.
They can.
Only harm is that during that process, no, he's contaminating his hand.
Yeah.
So he should not go and milk spread another. So that is
That's
what.
only carrying out. So how fast we can recover back the milk? Whatever the milk loss is there, because they said 28 days minimum for this.
In some of the animals, in some of the farms, we have observed more than 50%, milk reduction. Some in natural infection, the animals are never going to be at the stable state before the infection.
Only is asking after vaccination, you mean?
After vaccination.
Recovery.
Vaccination, in our 102 farms we have conducted, that is 4 of the farms. There are some problems, were there. But it was regained, maybe 2 days, maximum of 2 to 8 days.
Recovery.
Yeah.
Recovery is.
That is for vaccination.
Vaccination.
Yeah, no, not the vaccine.
Like
He's asking
in
about
FMD.
natural infection.
Natural infection. No, this is not natural infection. It depends, but whatever I have with communication in the field, so they are not going to come back to the normal.
We studied with polar, 2 of the cooperative societies. See, if your cow is having a potential of 20 liters a day, if it gets affected with the LSD, it comes down to 10 liters, but it never reaches to 20, even if it recovers that size. That is what.
How sure are you, how much data you have collected?
Yes, sir, we have.
Don't make it a general statement.
Because sometimes in
based
FMD also, we get
small data, let us not put this one.
This should be
In the state.
one lactation.
Yes, sir.
We don't have any.
That's what. In that like.
Probably in subsequent lactation, they will be coming to full yield.
Try to collect more data.
Last question, general analysis, but clarity. How much time we have to burn the milk? That means milk we have to discard it. If it is naturally infected or after vaccination.
Boil and they consume, there is no harm.
Naturalization, whatever happened, that is the minimum thing happened.
Fully with the bulk mix.
It needs to be pasteurized or boiled before consumption.
Bulk milk जितना होगा डॉक्टर साहब वो pasteurization में जाते ही जाता है.
Yes.
Because bulk milk is never sold as unpacked. It is going for pasteurization, so there is no risk.
No.
Even
Thank you.
otherwise, also I think, India is a country where we boil the pasteurized milk.
Yes.
So we never consume pasteurized milk. I think many of us or most of us, we have never tasted pasteurized milk. Boil at home. Unless actually boil, we absolutely.
Dr. Srinivas, what is the observation that the virus is inactivated at pasteurization temperature?
Yeah, that's.
That is why.
I have one. I think it is only enough that if we are telling that vector plays very important role in the transmission, whether it is essential, it has to pass through the vector, the virus. No, or it is just a mechanical, any study has been done. We are telling so much time on the vector. Whether it is essential, have anyone studied that part?
It's a major mode of transmission, but as somebody has pointed out, the icrogenic, transmission is also. In direct close contact, yes. Yeah.
It is a mechanical vector, right? It's not a biological.
That has to be proven.
That's not some R&D should be there.
Somebody,
Before saying that, there should be some study.
this should be done by nobody else other than IVR, because आपका parasitology department पे है, ठीक है, वहाँ पे काम हो रहा है, so वो those people they can collaborate with NIVEDI, they are going for regular surveillance, so they can collect pics and you can collaborate with.
अभी हमने जो 30 outbreaks से जो samples लिए थे, flies we have taken and ticks also we have taken. All the flies, whether it is Emotobia or Stomaxis, they are having the virus.
नहीं वायरस है but उनका ट्रांसमिशन
रोड क्या है?
ये कह रहा है क्या वर्टिकल ट्रांसमिशन हो रहा है क्या, वो तो देखो एक बार.
I think the Pallavi asking is very pertinent. The asking is
it mechanical?
Is it mechanical or is it a must that you have to have vector? Just pass through this. Is it required that a vector should be there? Just like
Then it
the
again an R&D sector.
should generate some data.
Yeah, that's why.
Tell that one publication will do, two publication will do.
Like one publication is available, you might have known, that when it is through this mosquito and this flies, so out of 10 animals, 9 animals, right, it shows clinical lesion, when it is through mosquito and.
Maybe some modification goes of the virus inside the vector.
इसलिए डॉक्टर नवीद का अगर आपने सुना होगा वाली से कि जब हम एक्सपेरिमेंटल एनिमल में प्रोड्यूस करने चलते हैं इंजेक्शन से निडल से तो वो डिजीज
आप इसको
वेक्टर से हो रहा है.
ये वेक्टर से आप पास करा के फिर
तो यू आर लकी कि आपका 3 में 2 एनिमल में आ गया, हो सकता है कि आपका एक ही में आता है या नहीं आता, क्योंकि 25% एनिमल नेचुरल इन्फेक्शन पे वेक्टर से हो रहा है, 25% एनिमल विल नॉट शो एनी सिम्पटम्स.
वायरस भी चाहे एक बार पकड़ हो वो
तो ये वेक्टर बायोलॉजी और रोल ऑफ वेक्टर इन ट्रांसमिशन इज अ गुड R&D इशू जो हम लोग
जो करना है सर,
करना.
I think we can have industrial perspective on what recommendation or during this panel discussion.
Yeah, so now the point, particularly the vaccine perspective is definitely one of the thing what I got it international expert from Balkan countries, what is one of the reference you made that one who is successfully controlled LSDV is the vaccination quality is the one thing. What is required for the vaccine quality, what you are manufacturing. This is something really has to be closely monitored. That is one of out of 3 parameters. Second one is the coverage, vaccination coverage. Whatever they have demonstrated is, it is more than 90% vaccination. Because most of the other like FMD and all, we thought that one maybe 70-80% also is good enough having the coverage. But in case of LSDB, where they had this one, that is the one of the factor what they suggested. So more than 90% has to be vaccinated. And other third part is that it should be homologous vaccine. Wherever they use the homologous vaccine, they had the better control than because Balkan countries, they used the Nitling side. I mean, what they used it. But in other countries where they are using there is also the coverage is less and there is also goatpox and other vaccines being used, but still they are struggling. I mean, not fully under control. This is maybe low coverage also.
Vaccine has not been used to that extent.
Maybe possible, maybe possible. Even Ludhiana was
what you have seen.
exactly.
So it was not widely used in any place.
That may be the one of the we don't.
CPAX has been used, but wherever CPAX has been used, control has not been. That is this.
So that is something, the lessons what learned globally, maybe we should adopt. Maybe instead of reinventing the
I think
we have to focus on those things.
One policy issue.
Yeah.
That when we go for the action plan, then coverage should be at least 90%.
So now, unless until national program in India, unless if you leave it to the states and all that one, it may not be effectively implemented.
Sir, until unless it is NADCP,
Hmm.
that homogeneity will not be maintained. And like what we sign different states, you see the data. Somebody said if there are say 20 lakhs of animals, there may be 8 or 9 lakhs of animals. So less than 30% coverage.
Yeah.
So if it goes in NADCP, timely purchase of vaccine will be there by all the states. Otherwise, some states they are having paucity of funds, some states they are because of procedural delay, it is not being available. So if it is in NADCP, whole infrastructure which is being used for FMD, that can take care of this. So that can again be.
Because our target is,
And then 90% cover.
our target is 2030. To make it more visible, I think this is something we have to do. But only thing is the 3 years vaccination, whether we will qualify for OAE or that is what something we have to look at.
That is the exit policy now.
Because is it
For
the
every
OAE
3
policy
years,
or is the 5 years? or that is- That's the only thing, that.
That is taken from that.
Okay, excellent.
So one thing regarding the industry now, because lot of field study is going on. And that data may not be accepted for the DCGI until the company comes and they get the test license, then they prepare under GMP. Otherwise, this data will not
That is
be.
the one thing scientifically, it can be still defended because see, there is a disease is spreading. I mean, the moment you delay and all, concurrently the industry can generate
Yeah,
data.
industry
This
data
will be
will be
accepted.
accepted.
I think here
should be linked there.
should be there. That whenever say for COVID, when virus was isolated, immediately they called the industry people.
Yes.
You take the virus and prepare the vaccine.
Exactly.
So if it is done same thing rather than
Doing
producing
lakhs of
vaccine
animals.
at the local this one,
Yeah.
then transferring the technology and fetching all the claims. If companies involved since beginning and holding with the
Yes,
institute,
what is required.
that will facilitate, I think, this would.
Exactly.
Much more. Lot of time saving. And then when it comes to the regulatory authorities also, because then data would be systematic.
Yes.
That can be done, because once you join hands at the initial stage, then your proposal, pre-proposal goes to DCGI. And based on this, we need provisional permission to start collecting data based on that. Once they permit you for provisional collection of data, then tomorrow they will agree with you.
Exactly.
Otherwise, once technology is transferred, you are waiting for this testing. Once it is done, then you vaccinate the animals and then start collecting data. So this use time already gone.
Exactly. Thanks, sir. What is
Yeah,
the
that's why
mind? Because I don't.
conversation understanding, man. So we want to do scientists have to do everything. It's not. You have to show the proof of concept. Rest is the.
See, getting the isolate from the field is the most primary job of the scientist. वो फसाद करके उसको अडॉप्ट कर लिया, उसके बाद आगे का काम के लिए इंडस्ट्री को लगा सकते हैं। साइमल्टेनियसली आप भी करते रहिए, बट देन उसको कंपनी को साथ में ले लीजिए, टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर करके। This is what for quite some time we are telling that this should come as a policy.
Yes, sir. Because otherwise, industry will not accept. If we do preliminary studies, they are not going to take it.
And then there will be
We
time.
have to generate some side data.
And I tell you what, tomorrow also, today also, DDG, Honorable DDG said.
Yes.
That it is not, we are not going only to bear with the LSD and African swine fever. Rift Valley fever, African heart sickness, and then CCHF. See, it is blooming large in Pakistan. Many people, they are getting affected. So that epidemic will also come. And if you see the published reports about India, then CCHF antibodies, you can find links in many, in animals. Even Rajasthan sheep and goat, about 35% animals, they are having antibodies.
I'll just give one example.
So one thing again here, it will be again in R&D issue, that pest risk analysis we are not doing. We need to go for risk analysis that about what are the diseases about which the country is at risk. Now, recombinant viruses in China, influenza, equine influenza came from Mongolia to China to India. That's why I correct. It came. So there are every chances that from China recombinant viruses can come here.
Yes.
And now it is not only the aerial route. Now there are, because of globalization, and there are many opportunities from where from every place virus can come. So, risk analysis to be very important point. Another point which I forget, I would also noticing that very less emphasis on biosecurity at the state level. So I think as a policy, biosecurity, because when we have such diseases, biosecurity can help in containing the disease. And when ASF occurred in northeastern, how it came to Bihar and other places, they start selling, panic selling of the animals. And then they are transported to other places. H5N1, when it is spread in West Bengal, they pass on poultry to Bihar, pass on to other adjoining states. So it is our biosecurity reasons. If we people are aware that how biosecurity is very important in containing the disease, then I think you should go a long way. So awareness and practice of biosecurity in the awareness in public and also materials and practicing by the public and the farmers is very, very important. I think this is one of the most primary tool when you do not have any other control measure like vaccines, etc. This is most prominent tool. So, and this is not only for the LSD or ASFB, it will be good for any other disease in future. So I think for this, we need to prepare the country to follow the biosecurity.
Yeah, in fact, it should go parallel. And biosecurity, they're all.
Strong training on biosecurity, even to field staff.
Sir, actually, our present vaccine, even after vaccination takes is missing. As a pox virus, it should be within 7 days takes has to appear. My opinion, it is more attenuated. It is necessary to study the virus below, that is P40 or 45, because when we are doing the sheeppox virus, 40 and 50 we did. So 40 we recommended and 50 is not protecting immune response. So the duration of immunity has to be increased.
But then again, here we cannot be sure because for all the pox viruses, that level will be different. For both pox, we recommended passage 58,
40, 60.
60, 58 seed and then 60, you make vaccine and sell. And when we went for sheeppox virus, then it was attenuated at 70. We again came back, reverted back to previous passage. I was reading one paper about when I read about your vaccine. Then one paper says that it should be higher passage level. But based on only one paper, you cannot try any conclusion.
So actually, the needling strain, you're right, needling is taking over 100 passages. Even
Yes,
then it's little hot.
yeah.
But KSGP strain, Kenyan sheep and goat strain, which are later proved to be LSD strain, they can be attenuated 30-40 passages. So our strain is somewhere in between of this needling.
So now again, one point which came for industry academia collaboration, that is now once you transfer the technology, your work is over. So now your work becomes to find out which passage level is the optimum passage level for making a vaccine. That is your research.
So we have still all the passages, even I have P75 as well. I have previous passage. But
But I think it is a very good point raised. And then
Because the immunity level we required 3 years.
it is a variable for each part, like sheep parts and goat parts. Now, whole world initially said the Capri parts virus of sheep, Capri parts virus of goat. Only Indians, they said sheep parts and goat parts. Even when they did based on the antigen and antibodies, then also they said sheep parts and goat parts, not Capri parts. But others, they said Capri parts. So that difference is there, and that it is to bring to the knowledge of all the people who are attending this conference is a good point.
And only thing is, in case of sheeppox and goatpox, we were getting only local reaction. Takes one. Whereas in case of needling, it is the micro nodule over the body. So that is what something balance has to be done. If that is the case, India acts, though it will be very immunogenic and protective, but there will be acceptability on the safety side.
So, immune response, it will be easy for zero monitoring purpose. Very difficult to evaluate cell mediated immunity because the titer will come down.
Exactly.
As per, so titer has to maintain for over a period of 1 year at least to assess the immune response and population immunity in the field level.
Again, I come to the point. Amit showed one paper about 18 months. So you read that paper and see, because maybe that they have tested only for 18
Yes,
months.
sir, I discussed, I was in that meeting, OI meeting, and it was also there. So I raised this question, how, do anybody have any data? We always keep saying that minimum period of 1 year, minimum period 2 years. So that person said that we have conducted controlled trials up to 18 months, maybe it's more than 18. That's
Control
trying to
trial,
challenge.
that's right, that's right. Again, it should not be made as a general statement.
Yes, yes.
Because when we developed PPR, initially we said 2 years,
Yes.
because we are still testing. Now, finally, we published that up to 6 months.
6 years.
6 years,
Yeah.
there is no need to repeat the injection. And goat's life is 3 years.
3 years.
If it is not a bleeding start. So one, you vaccinate once and then forget. But now it is yearly
Usually
vaccination,
go for, sir.
annual vaccination. Companies, they have recommended annual vaccination.
Yeah.
So companies, they are putting pressure on themselves. Because you need vaccine for many diseases, and then facility is the same. So you need
Yeah.
to adjust that
Yeah.
also, that if you want to produce more LSD vaccine, then you say now stop, PPR vaccine is not required anymore. You should come forward. And there is a published paper already. I think somebody.
I think live actions, even companies can scale up. It's not so difficult. It means it's a capacity I was mentioning.
Anyway, but point of duration of immunity, because initially when it is tested for that period, we claim that. But then it is very important to verify that it is tested for longer time, but immunity is up to that period only.
The problem is
It is tested for that time and we are reporting.
we have to keep the animals under controlled condition, because we have X-ray 2 lakhs, we are monitoring them. But if I go to some scientific community, so they will not believe, because they are whether not in control.
One thing, what you can do, I will.
And it's not possible to keep controlled. Yeah.
But then जो अपना farms है ICAR,
उनको monitoring कर रहे हैं, sir. We are-
उनको मॉनिटर करिए, उनमें आपको मिलेगा जैसे 2019 में या अर्ली 2020 में बहुत सारे फार्म्स में वैक्सीनेशन हुआ है, इंक्लूडिंग मेरठ का, डॉक्टर मिश्रा का, उनकी वैक्सीन वहाँ भी कराए। तो ऐसे आप थोड़े 4 से 10 फार्म ले लीजिए
आ रहे हैं सर, IRI, NDRI से आ रहे हैं।
तो उनमें आपको थोड़ा ड्यूरेशन ऑफ इम्यूनिटी के बारे में आइडिया लगेगा। चलो
Sir, can I take 1 or 2 from the?
Yes.
There is and the online.
They are online, if they are, any panelist online would like to share your thoughts?
Unmuted.
Dr. YPS
अनम्यूट
Malik,
कर दीजिए सबको।
Dr. Niranjan Mishra.
Yeah, am I audible?
Quick point, only 1 point.
Yeah, only one suggestion is that means the CMI, and because already we know that CMI and humoral, even if all the natural infected animals, there is a large number of variation between the humoral response also. Only sometimes 40 to 50% those animals show humoral response. Similarly, there is a variation in CMI also. So we have to look how it is to be tackled after the vaccination and this takes place throughout the country. So that we have to think, because in other countries that was a problem they faced for this assessment of in field cases.
Yeah, point taken. Dr. YPS Malik.
ADG sir is there, Dr. Ashok Kumar.
Anybody else?
Which is there? Dr. Amit,
Sir,
would you like to add some point?
Any quick point?
sir, my only part is that
Quick point. You have-
monitoring of LSDV strains which are circulating in the country, that has to be taken, especially in the western border of the country, because already needling vaccine has been imported in the Pakistan to control the disease, and the recommended strains they are in the China part, so that the monitoring of LSD strains which are circulating, especially the border area, that has to be done.
Did sir?
Okay, my Pura, I could not able to listen all of you. It was off and on, but what was finally decided? What you recommend really on this? I mean, your all lectures are over.
All lectures are over, sir. Panel discussion is on the final. Maybe.
Okay, final discussion. So what we have decided?
No, sir, based on the presentations, I think we'll come out with some recommendations, but as far as the panel discussion is concerned, few points are, one is regarding the cellular immunity that has been and the vaccine quality and the coverage, the point has been made, and joining hands with the industry in the beginning, not at a later stage when already the infection and the spread starts. And vector transmission, some more research has to be taken care of. It's not very clear. Risk analysis and the biosecurity at state level, I think these are the points to be taken at the for future in the action points.
Inclusion of lumpy skin disease control in NDCP program. That was another recommendation.
नहीं वो तो हो चुका है उस पर तो they had recommended. I told you in my inaugural remarks that they submitted for a fully funded central scheme. But they say that the disease has now come down, so they thought that let us go for 60-40. So I think.
But अभी डिजीज साहब डिजीज गया नहीं है।
बिल्कुल नहीं क्या ना जाएगा अभी तो मैं नहीं ऐसा नहीं हम रिकमेंड किया था यहाँ से, लेकिन वो जो है कैबिनेट में गया तो वहाँ पर ऐसा कहा भाई डिजीज तो कम हो रही है, इसको 100% ना दिया जाए, वो 60% देगी गवर्नमेंट, मतलब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट देगी, वो देगी। तो उस पर अभी हम लगेंगे, अब उसको जरा सा एक्शन प्लान बन जाए, क्योंकि
अभी डीडी साहब हम लोगों ने यही सोचा था, आपका याद था, आपने बताया था सुबह, बट हम लोगों ने सोचा कि अगर यहाँ से एक बार जाता है तो फिर आपका हाथ भी थोड़ा और मजबूत हो जाएगा आगे फॉरवर्ड करने के लिए, तो इसलिए हम लोगों ने इसको ये किया। बाकी आप जैसा ठीक समझेंगे वैसा हो गया।
नहीं आप लोग लिखिए वहां से कि ये डिजीज डेंजरस डिजीज है और ये हो सकता है कि सीजनल थोड़ा वेरिएशन होगा, विंटर होगा तो कम हो जाएगा, एब्सोल्युटली कम हो ही जाएगा। लेकिन इसको भारत जैसे बड़े देश से इसको जल्दी निकालना इतना पॉसिबल नहीं है, इसलिए। और ये भी है क्योंकि लाइव वैक्सीन है, इम्यूनिटी लंबी होती है, नॉट लाइक एफएमडी, ठीक है। डिजीज है, अगर हमें 1 साल 1.5 साल इम्यूनिटी मिलती है, अगर जो कि पता चल जाएगा, आप तो स्टडी कर रहे हैं, तो इवन देन दैट इज एनफ टू कंट्रोल द डिजीज। और एक बार जहाँ पे 70-80% अगर आप एनिमल को वैक्सीनेट कर दिएगा, जैसे देखा महाराष्ट्र ने कर दिया, महाराष्ट्र विल बी ए मॉडल स्टेट, देखना वो वैक्सीन लेते ही वो बना दे, वो सब कर देगा वो।
इसको डॉक्टर साहब एक चीज हम लोग और इसको आप कभी डिस्कशन में जस्ट टू ब्रिंग टू योर नॉलेज कि हम उनको बोल सकते हैं कि अगर 2030 तक इस डिजीज को इरेडिकेट करना है तो हमको एनडीसीपी में ले जाना चाहिए। अगर हम लेट करेंगे तो ये एंडेमिक हो जाएगा, तो इतना पैसा हर साल ही खर्च होता रहेगा उसमें। अभी तो थोड़ी बचत हो जाएगी, लेकिन बाद में बहुत खर्च होता रहेगा।
नहीं एक तो मतलब सेंट्रली फंडेड स्कीम तो आप मतलब करिए उनको, और हाँ सेंट्रली
जस्टिफिकेशन के साथ में दे देंगे इसको,
हाँ उसको जस्टिफिकेशन
डाल देंगे जी।
डिजीज की इंपॉर्टेंस बताते हुए कि डिजीज रही है और 80-90 साल वहाँ रही है, तो उतना जल्दी नहीं जाती, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ बहुत बड़ा देश है, तो वैसे प्रॉब्लम है। यूरोपियन कंट्री ने अपना वो कर लिया है, ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल एडिकेटेड है, तो स्मॉल कंट्री, स्मॉल नंबर ऑफ एनिमल्स, आवर सिचुएशन इज डिफरेंट। फिर उसके बाद बफलो में है, फिर वाइल्ड लाइफ में है, कैमल में आ गया, तो दैट पार्ट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और दूसरा इसमें आप लोगों ने हमारा जो है इस पर इशू डिस्कस किया, रिकॉम्बिनेशन का इशू इस कैप्टरी पॉक्स वायरस में इतना क्यों ज्यादा आता है, मुझे इसका आंसर बताइए। कुछ तो लोगों बताया कुछ वाई रिकॉम्बिनेशन इसमें ज्यादा डिस्कशन हो रहा है, ना कि शीप एंड गोट पॉक्स में। और क्या आपको अभी आज तक कोई ऐसा रिकॉम्बिनेशन का फील्ड लेवल पर कभी ऐसा कोई रिपोर्ट आई है कभी, या ट्रिब्यूटेड वैक्सीन कोई भी कैप्टरी पॉक्स लगाई गई हो, एंड दैट हैज लेड टू रिवर्जन और रिकॉम्बिनेशन नेचुरली इन द होस्ट?
अभी डॉक्टर साहब जो गोट पॉक्स शी पॉक्स वैक्सीनेशन का था, कभी कोई सर्वेलेंस तो हुआ नहीं है, तो उसमें कह पाना कुछ मुश्किल है, कोई ग्लोबल रिपोर्ट भी कहीं से नहीं है इसका। क्योंकि जब तक सर्विलेंस नहीं करेंगे तो उसका पता भी नहीं चलेगा। तो इसीलिए मेरा एक प्रपोजल था, जब मैं सुबह बोल रहा था कि अभी जैसे हमारे पास 4-5 सिनेरियोज है। एक हो गया जहाँ पे गोटपॉक्स वैक्सीन लगी है, दूसरा शीपॉक्स वैक्सीन लगी है, तीसरा नीडलिंग है, फिर हमारी इंडिजिनस वैक्सीन है। कुछ ऐसी जगह जहाँ पे वैक्सीनेशन हुआ नहीं है, तो अगर वहां से थोड़ा सैंपलिंग करके जीनोमिक सर्विलेंस में ले जाएं, एंड एज यू सेड कि एक नेटवर्क और ये कंटिन्यूस जीनोमिक सर्विलेंस चले, तो इसका एक प्रोजेक्ट बना के डीएसडी को दिया जा सकता है। आजकल वो लोग भी फंडिंग कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें नियसाद, निवेदी और एनआरसी का बीटीसीसी ये लोग मिलके अगर सर्विलेंस में एक प्रोग्राम ले लेते हैं तो ये अच्छा रहेगा। मॉनिटरिंग भी इजी हो जाएगा कि एज वैक्सीनेशन गो जान तो हमारा डिजीज का स्टेटस क्या है। अब हम 2030 इरेडिकेशन की बात करें।
सर उसमें जो मेजर जो प्रॉब्लम हुई सर इसमें, so that was paper came out from Russia in 2016. There was an outbreak, and then initially the infection came from the Kazakhstan, and then in Russia, and then they published a paper. But then in a retrospective study, so they sequenced the vaccine virus, and they observed that there is they construct 3 different viruses. And later on, it was concluded that the recombination event actually didn't take place in the field, but it in the lab, mishandling of the multiple strain. So there, as of now, there is no single report about the natural recombination of the Capripox virus in the field.
चलिए ठीक है, वो नहीं है, but what we do is that we certainly will take a project for genomic surveillance.
That will be out for here.
वो हमने वो विल सबमिट कर दिया। सर ने कहा कि ये सेकंड रिकमेंडेशन आ गया कि हमें जीनोमिक सर्वेलेंस पर जाए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, तो आर्टिस्ट लोग काम करेंगे। और इसमें हम जो है गुजरात बॉटनी सेंटर को भी इन्वॉल्व करना चाहेंगे, ठीक है, डॉक्टर जोशी हैं, उनको भी इन्वॉल्व करना चाहेंगे इसमें।
हाँ, उनका सेंटर पे फैसिलिटी है, तो 3 अपना ये लैब हो जाएंगे, एक उनका सेंटर हो जाएगा, कब कब 4 जगह तो शुरू कर सकते हैं।
5-6 सेंटर होंगे एंड इन्वॉल्विंग ऑल सैंपल्स फ्रॉम थ्रू द कंट्री, तो हमें एक पिक्चर मिल जाएगी। और कैप्री पॉक्स की एपिडेमियोलॉजी पर पूरा शीप, गोट और एलएसडी तीनों पर एक इस पर जो है ना, हमें एक जीनोमिक्स में सब आ जाएगा। ये दैट विल नॉट इंक्लूड ओनली एलएसडी, इट विल इंक्लूड शीप एंड गोट पॉक्स आल्सो। तो कैप्री पॉक्स जो हमारी नॉलेज है वो हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है इस कंट्री के लिए, तो उसी जीनोमिक सर्वेलेंस में ये पार्ट भी आ जाएगा। इट्स नॉट ओनली फॉर एलएसडी बट इट इज फॉर कैप्री पॉक्स, आई मीन एंटायर कैप्री पॉक्स हम करेंगे उसमें। तो दैट इज व्हाट वी अंडर थिंग।
ये ठीक पॉइंट आपने कहा, क्योंकि अगर जो हमारे कुछ आइसोलेट ऑलरेडी है शीपास गोटपास के, दूसरा सैंपल फील्ड से आ रहे हैं, तो जैसे एलएसडी के करेंगे साथ में अगर इनको भी करते हैं तो गोटपास शीपास में क्या सिचुएशन है, एटलीस्ट विल बी एबल टू टेल कि भाई क्या पोजीशन है।
टारगेटेड सैंपलिंग रहेगा, टारगेटेड सैंपलिंग रहेगी, मतलब हर स्टेट से, हर जगह से जहाँ एक्चुअली शीप पॉक्स लग रहा है, गोट पॉक्स तो अब लगना शुरू हुआ है, लेकिन शीप पॉक्स तो मिल सकता है। ये ऐसा तो नहीं कोई शीप पॉक्स में कोई चेंज हो रहा हो, ऐसा कुछ है कि नहीं, क्योंकि हमने अभी तक कोई किया नहीं है इस तरह से। और
नहीं, कभी इस तरह का कोई सर्विलेंस रहा नहीं कभी।
रिवर्जन टू विरुलेंस का अब इन्होंने एक्चुअली, मुझे उस समय वो था नहीं कि ये इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है, वरना मैं उस समय भी आइवराइज करवा देता, उस समय हो जाता है।
डॉक्टर साहब अभी कर लिया, प्रेजेंटेशन किया था तो ये लोगों ने कर लिया है, वो रिवर्जन टू विरुलेंस नहीं हो रहा है। रिवर्जन नहीं
हो, वो तो होता है भाई भी नहीं,
वो एक्सपेरिमेंट कर लिया डॉक्टर रेड्डी लोगों ने, अभी प्रेजेंट किया था इन्होंने।
वैक्सीन का डेटा काफी नेचुरल में आ चुका है, मुझे मैं लगता हूँ कि ये 1.5 लाख वैक्सीन लग चुकी होगी। मुझे बताया गया था वो 30,000 डेटा था, लेकिन मैं सोचता हूँ कि वैक्सीन काफी गई हुई है। इट हैज गॉन टू JNK, मणिपुर, अंडमान और सो मेनी गौशाला डिफरेंट स्टेट्स। उनके डेटा में ऐसा कोई अनटुवर्ड इफेक्ट नहीं आया। आई होप डॉक्टर नवीन उसमें कोई डेटा नहीं आया कहीं कि वर्सन आ गया हो या कि डिजिटल रिएक्शन आ गया हो, तो दैट वे वैक्सीन इज सेफ। Now I think BioVet has submitted his result and ICAR is doing it. Let us see what they say. Now next question comes the duration of immunity. कि इसको कैसे डिटरमिन किया जाएगा ताकि so that no we can go for one vaccine and in 1 year or you can go annual vaccination. इस पर डेटा चाहिए, जरा सॉलिड डेटा चाहिए, and until then we can recommend कि 1 साल तक तो रहे कम से कम।
ये डॉक्टर साहब हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया था, तो उसमें ये पॉइंट निकल के आ रहा था कि अभी जैसे कुछ एनिमल्स का वैक्सीनेशन हुआ है, तो अभी नवीन का भी वैक्सीनेशन काफी ढेर सारे एनिमल में हो गया है। इन्हीं एनिमल को हम अगले 2-3 साल तक ले लें, तो उसमें क्वेश्चन आ रहा था कि वो कंट्रोल कंडीशन में तो नहीं रख पाएंगे, तो बात सही है। लेकिन जो आईसीआर इंस्टीट्यूट में एनिमल्स है, वो तो दे आर एज गुड एज कंट्रोल एनिमल, तो उनमें तो कम से कम हम मॉनिटरिंग करके ड्यूरेशन ऑफ इम्यूनिटी देख ही सकते हैं, तो उनको फिर करना पड़ेगा हमें।
कंट्रोल कंडीशन में सिर्फ जो है अपना ये वाला जो CIRC मेरठ है ये रहा है जहाँ बायोसिक्योरिटी अच्छी है। बाकी IVRI, NDRI और ये गढ़वासु तीनों जगह जो आउटब्रेक हुआ ऐसा मतलब वहाँ बायोसिक्योरिटी ठीक नहीं है। केवल CIRC में नहीं हुआ है गोट पास लगाने के बाद, क्योंकि उसके यहाँ बड़ा स्ट्रिक्ट है ना, वहाँ पे आता जाता नहीं है मेरठ में कैंट में, इसलिए वो बचा है इवन आफ्टर गोट पास वैक्सीनेशन ओनली। लेकिन ये जो IVRI, NDRI है या गढ़वासु है, ये तो हर जगह फैल गया है। तो डेटा तो खैर उस लॉट ऑफ फॉल्स एनुअल वेरिएशन जो हमें रिजल्ट हमें मिलता है, कुछ लॉट ऑफ एनुअल वेरिएशन इज देयर। और दूसरा ये था कि आपका CMI का कोई ऐसा डायग्नोस्टिक टेस्ट अभी तक नहीं आया जो कि इतना इट इज सो वेरिड। इफ यू एनिमल टू एनिमल इट वेरीज, इफ यू टेक गामा इंटरफेरॉन और आप इसको जो है LST ले लें, जो भी ले लें, टेस्ट ले लें या कोई और टेस्ट ले लें।
इसके डॉक्टर साहब इन लोगों ने डिस्कस किया था, करेंगे तीनों लैब मिलके सेलुलर इम्यून रिस्पांस देखने के लिए क्या टेस्ट डेवलप करने, दे विल वर्क ऑन इट।
वो तो डॉक्टर साहब फॉर एवरी लाइव एटेम्प्टेड वैक्सीन CMI वर्क्स, दैट इज व्हाई इट इज फॉर लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन इम्यूनिटी। किसी भी वायरस के अगेंस्ट में नहीं पता है कि कैसे उसकी मेमोरी मेंटेन रहती है। जैसे PPR RP में है 3-4 साल या लाइफ लॉन्ग तक होती है, मिजल वायरस में भी होती है। तो लगता है हमको पता ही नहीं, किसी को नहीं पता है। और लेकिन अगर इस पर लोग काम करते हैं थोड़ी सी हाउ इट प्रोटेक्ट, so that but data will be quite varied, but we need to work on a standardized method. We can develop a command test and look at the different animals in different states, and if you are getting a homogeneous result, or you know, that perhaps you can also adopt it as a kind of parameter for assessment of immunity. It can be done. So I think anything more specific that was discussed, anything more specific other than this?
There are 2 points by Dr. Ravindra had, I think, and the chat box, can this be displayed? Yeah, one is, the documents between wild, since the recombination is documented between wild and vaccine strain, caution should be exercised while advising vaccination at the phase of outbreak. And second thing is vaccination with the heterogeneous vaccine also to be continued.
Why to be continued by goat pox or sheep pox? We can't allow both vaccines in the same country. That will again create problem. That to cattle.
वो पॉलिसी डिसीजन तो लेना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा करना है, क्योंकि अभी ये जो अपना नया वैक्सीन आ गया है, जैसे लाइसेंस होता है एंड दे टेक परमिशन, तो उसके बाद में तो फिर मेरे ख्याल से वही जाएगा, फिर दोनों तो एक साथ परमिट होगा किसी
तो भगवा फिर हमने डॉक्टर नवीन आपको कहा था कि यू टेक सैंपल फ्रॉम IVRI and DRI आल्सो, कि आफ्टर कैप्टिव पॉक्स उन्होंने वैक्सीन लगाई होगी, लोगों ने लगा लिया होगा, IVRI लगा लिया होगा या उस तक NDRI लगा लिया होगा, उसका क्या रिजल्ट रहा कुछ उसमें बता सकते हो आप?
अभी सर सैंपल नहीं आए हैं। अभी जो वैक्सीनेशन अभी किया है उन्होंने महीने 20 दिन पहले NDRI IVRI ने, तो उसका सैंपल आया नहीं है मेरे पास।
नहीं, बिफोर वैक्सीनेशन ऑफ LSD एंड आफ्टर, तो आप तो कुछ कर पाओगे आप, उसमें पता चलेगा।
कुछ 50 सैंपल भेजे थे सर IVRI ने, दे सेंड इट टू मी बिफोर वैक्सीनेशन ऑफ दिस होमोलोगस वैक्सीन। सो उसमें 50 में से मेरे ख्याल से आई डोंट एग्जैक्टली रिमेम्बर, पर 8-10 एनिमल्स में दे हैव नॉट एंटीबॉडीज अगेंस्ट यूनिक कैप्टिव पॉक्स वायरस टेस्टेड बाय वायरस न्यूट्रलाइजेशन विद LSD वायरस।
नहीं, against LSD virus or goat pox virus?
Against LSD virus I tested.
Very well. 8-10 में था.
नहीं सर, मेरे ख्याल से 12 एनिमल्स में नहीं था, 50 में थे ना, और अदर्स दे हैड सम लेवल ऑफ एंटीबॉडी, 8 से ऊपर का टाइटर था.
Sure. थोड़ा सा और डेटा करिए, 50 से कम है, जनरलाइज देख लीजिए और पता चल जाएगा. क्योंकि जहाँ तक मैं समझता हूँ कि how many month after vaccination of goat we can switch over to LSD vaccine. That is also important. Because since it has been widely used for the country, then I think it will be if it was vaccinated 4 months before, we can switch over to LSD vaccine. Yeah, 4 to 6 months.
There is a question from Anand. LSD is classified as a DSL-3 organism. Is it still required to keep DSL-3?
This is not a BSL organism. पता नहीं कैसे लोग कैटेगराइज करते हैं. To me, it is not BSL organism. आप बताइए डॉक्टर नवीन क्या है, आप बताइए डॉक्टर.
इन्हीं को लिखना पड़ेगा.
Sir, as per the recent, initially it was in BSL-2, but then they kept it in BSL-3. As per the DBT guidelines, it's BSL-3.
डाल दिया BSL-3.
But this is not required.
From ICAR, it has to be represented DBT that they should change the guideline.
लिखना पड़ेगा.
हाँ डॉक्टर साहब, all the questions हमारा डिस्कशन का उन्हीं को ले लीजिए और बाद में जब आप उसको स्क्रीन करोगे चैट बॉक्स में जो भी मैसेज आए तो जो रिलेवेंट हो उसमें आप लोग बैठ के डिस्कस करके उसको प्रोसीडिंग में डाल लेना.
A lot of lab issues related research we have discussed, socio-economic measures for different stakeholders, how it has impacted, all these also should be part of this action plan.
That would be part. Yes, definitely. Without socio-economic analysis तो कुछ होगा नहीं ना. Yes. वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
हाँ, इसे करिए, इम्पैक्ट ट्रांस करिए, इसका इम्पैक्ट जो भी है, इम्पैक्ट करिए. इम्पैक्ट तो निवेदी करता ही करता है, इसको करेगा. इम्पैक्ट.
So we need to estimate the national burden of lumpy skin disease.
I think YPSML has made Gujarat, sorry, Punjab model. I mean, whatever he given.
Nivedi could Nivedi.
We already done for 3-4 states already. We're doing the data in the states.
इसको नेशनल स्केल पे आप ज्यादा टाइम मत लो. आप किस
Resources and surveillance takes time, sir.
नहीं, अभी आप थोड़ा बात कर लीजिए DST को, उनके पास जो डेटा आता है तो वहां से अगर वो डेटा आपको मिलता है तो इकोनॉमिक क्लास तो उनको भी चाहिए ना भाई. NADCP में अगर लाना है और आप निवेदी से ICAR के थ्रू डेटा जाता है तो भाई आपका इतना लॉस हो रहा है. अगर आप इसको 2025 में कंट्रोल करना चाहते हो, 2030 तक इरेडिकेट करना चाहते हो तो इतना पैसा डालिए इसमें, दोनों में इट कैन बी डन. तो आप DG साहब के हाथ मजबूत करोगे जब आप ये डेटा दे.
डॉक्टर साहब, डॉक्टर गुलाटी ने जो पेंट किया उसमें उन्होंने कुछ इकोनॉमिक एनालिसिस की है उसमें.
That was for one state, sir, for Rajasthan.
ठीक है. तो एक स्टेट के बेसिस पर ही आप बताइएगा कि एक स्टेट में ये हाल है, इसलिए उसको थोड़ा डेटा दीजिएगा कि इतने 1000 करोड़ का या 1000 दिखाया था, मैं 1100 करोड़ कितना का लॉस हो रहा है दिखाया था आपने.
ये अभी तक आप कुछ एक्स्ट्रापोलेट कर सकते हैं ये स्टेट वाले और इकोनॉमिक्स वाले. तो ये एक्स्ट्रापोलेट
Without surveillance, they cannot. They need a lot of surveillance.
अभी जो फिलहाल जो DSG का डेटा है उसके अनुसार तो मैं समझता हूँ कि 30 लाख एनिमल अफेक्टेड हुए हैं और 1.25 लाख एनिमल मरे हैं. कम से कम इसी के बेसिस
हिंदी में बोला अभी डॉक्टर साहब राजस्थान का 1100 करोड़ है. तो अगर आपने जैसे कहा अगर यही बताया जाए खाली एक स्टेट में ये 1100 करोड़ है, आप इंडिया का सोच सकते हैं. जब तक डेटा नहीं
जहाँ हुआ है
जो कैबिनेट नोट गया था वो 1000 करोड़ का गया था सिर्फ. ठीक है, तो अगर आप 1100 करोड़ एक में कर देते हैं तो समझता हूँ कि स्वास्थ्य पर इसका इफेक्ट पड़ेगा. ठीक है, स्टेट में 1100 करोड़ है, जैसे गुजरात काफी इफेक्टेड हुआ था, महाराष्ट्र में काफी इफेक्ट था, यूपी में भी हुआ है, हर स्टेट में हुआ है.
पॉपुलेशन के बेस में प्रोजेक्ट कर सकते हैं.
हाँ बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं आप, रिस्क कर सकते हैं।
They work out the cost of livestock rearing, the cost of inputs they are putting. There are many parameters Dr. Govindaraj and his team is doing.
अरे गुलाटी इसको आप बंद करिए, मुझे भी कहीं जाना है।
जी सर, we are completing this panel discussion.
आप जो है ना इसकी बहुत लंबी मत बनाएगा प्रोसीडिंग कि सर किसने क्या क्या किया, कुछ नहीं, डेढ़ पेज का जो प्रोसीडिंग बना करके।
Sir, would you like to give some concluding remarks about this?
कंक्लूडिंग रिमार्क फिर इसके बाद जो थैंक्स दोगे फिर इसके बाद।
जी सर, that will be final formality.
Okay, well, just quickly in 5 minutes. So thank you very much for organizing this workshop come brainstorming, and we are all concerned people who are working. They are really working in Defence Institute, and we do not know that how many state agriculture university or state veterinary universities are working. It could have been better. It could have some input from them as well. And but anyway, next time we'll do it. Then perhaps we can invite people from universities also. So all real workers, scientists, they have presented their work, and also in general also. And so we had a good discussion, and finally have decided certain points that should come out. And we have to really see that how quickly a necessary plan is organized, and it is being centrally funded by the ministry. And it depends on the next summer, then and how it looks. So, but before that, we can prevail on the ministry. Dr. Mitra was here, so he will be able to convince also. And on 1st of February, I'm going to present what ICR has and what ICR want to give to the department for different technologies in different sectors. So there are also this issue will be raised, and certainly there are certain points that comes out. Especially, I wanted a DIVA test that should do. Everybody should do that. One diagnostic test for zero surveillance, and another for zero monitoring when vaccination will go on. So I think within next 3 to 4 months, the DIVA serological test should come out. They've been able to differentiate between vaccine strain and the wild type strain. And certainly, we'd like to have a consortium of genomic surveillance throughout the country, and that we like that this project will get it through the ministry. And not only for LSD only, it will be for entire Pox virus. That is going to be important. It is the only country perhaps in the world where we have got all Pox viruses. So this is very Pox viruses are very important for India as well. So, and then let us see how quickly this vaccine comes in the market. And people have become cold because see that incidence has come down. There is no media hype, and so on and so forth. But we all know animal health expert. We know that what is the importance of this disease, how chronic it is, how we have not yet gone for the wildlife. For example, camel is the one that has been isolated. In horses also some noodles were there, but I don't know if it was confirmed or not. So many other species will be there to take the virus, take the virus and keep the virus in the environment. So again, it is not a very, very easy disease to control. Control is easy, but eradication fully, this is not a easy job unless we follow all biosecurity measures, strict vaccination, and then throughout the country, not in few states, and other states are not doing it because the cross-border state movement of animals are quite common in this country. Not only in this country, but also inter-country. We have got a porous border along the north-eastern region. So that is all affect. We all under necessary plan will make and give to government so that it can be followed in toto and with all sincerity and ability. So with this, I thank Dr. Gulati and his team for organizing it, and also the president of IEV, Dr. R.K. Singh, to be physically present there, and cheers to Mount Session, and also Dr. Bhatta and other Director, Dr. Dr. Aniket Sanyal and Dr. Pallav Chaudhary and T.K. Bhattacharya was also attached there. And all of these distinguished speakers, they give their all-out knowledge to all of us. And still there are many things I could not, in fact, attend all the lectures, but I was off and on. So I'm not able to comment anything on those, but I did not listen entire proceedings. But even then, I think all of you have discussed it thoroughly. And again, we'll call another closed group meeting and we'll decide the national action plan, but how it is going to be formulated, maybe in Delhi itself. So with that, I thank all of you. I did not listen. Manjunath was there. He was also one who was working at NIVEDI. He was working in epidemiology. Epidemiology is not a small thing, and we should continue working on that. And all those people, especially those who are working core virology, they should also think that how we can thrash out this virus, at genomic level. And don't only rush for a diagnostic or a vaccine. Not much craze now. Better you should work on core molecular biology. So you will give some new information to us. And also vector transmission. They also report that some viruses of LSD, they are not being transmitted by vectors, others are being transmitted by vectors. So vector some works would also be taken maybe by NIVEDI or by ICAR-NIVEDI. Wherever we have got astrologists, they can also collaborate with it. ICAR-NIVEDI could be the one and NIVEDI could be other to take up this aspect as well, so that we can have a total entire, including everything, including vaccine, diagnostics, surveillance, vector control, and with a sufficient knowledge that we can put in our instruction program. So with this, thank to all of you for remaining here, and I'm giving you this opportunity to just have your concluding session also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So with that, we conclude this panel discussion, and I would request Organizing Secretary to complete the remaining formalities.
Okay, well, I would like to thank our Deputy Director and the party, sir. We would have loved to have him here due to some emergency, he had to go back to Delhi. So we thank you. I mean, even with so much of your busy schedule, you could really attend it and use our morale. Thank you for being with us. And I thank Dr. Rakesh Singh, sir, who is the president of the IBS and former director of IBS. I request Rakesh sir to provide with a moment to Dr. Rakesh Singh. We are forwarding to those who are present here only. I thank the Environment Commissioner who has got a meeting today with the minister, and despite that he made a point to attend our meeting and address the gathering, and I thank him very much for that. And I thank Dr. Prasad sir, who is the director of the NIMP, and I respect our director. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. I thank Dr. Aniket Sanyal, the director of Nishat, who has made, all the way from Bhopal to. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank Dr. T.K. Bhattacharya, who made his presence felt in our gathering. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank Dr. Ashok Kumar, ADG AH, who was present online for the meeting in the initial part. I thank you very much. Then I thank our TD IVRI, Palak Chaudhary, and I request our director to present the members of the meeting. I thank Dr. P. Srinivas, the head SRS NDRI, for being with us. And he is coming for the first time. Thank you very much, sir.
Photo.
And I thank Dr. Jyoti Mishri, who made her presence felt in our meeting. Thank you. And I thank Dr. Niranjan Mishra, my good friend, from Bhopal, to present topic on disease diagnostics. And I thank Dr. Naveen, who is here, and I request our director to present the memento today. I thank Dr. Gilari, who is the executive director of BioWell, and who was in Pune yesterday, and he made a point of attend. Also thank Dr. Y.K.M. Reddy, my inspiration and senior. Thank you for being with us, sir. And I thank Dr. Y.P.S. Malik, who made a point, attended as well as tell about IVS. And I thank you, sir. Then I thank Dr. Amit, who is the youngest of the presenter, for being with us. And I thank the Indian Neurological Society for jointly organizing this workshop. I thank all the rapporteurs, our Nardin Center for PIs and co-PIs for providing the data on LSD, and all the participants. And also thank our director, who has been guiding force behind all of this activity. I thank present a moment to our director.
My
As a speaker. As a speaker.
My
And all the members of our organizing committee and the staff of ICAR-NIVEDI, admin, accounts, and project staff, and my other colleagues, and Dr. Munnath Reddy, who is co-organizing with me as a secretary. And if at all I missed someone, I thank everyone for all the support for conducting this workshop. Thank you all, and we have got a lunch. It is delayed now anyway, but still we can have lunch and proceed to our destination. Thank you.
Thanks to all the participants who have been participating in this workshop online, and they have been through with us throughout the day. And a special thanks to the organizing secretaries, Dr. Diwakar Himadri and Dr. Manjunath Reddy. Thank you.